USIP, IPSS, and ISS had a really productive conversation today that examined with many interesting perspectives present what are the main causes of fragility in Africa.
There were a number of states in the world that you could see from various indices were fragile in the sense that their ability to cope with either unrest or with serious crises was weak and could lead to conflict.
We are dealing with the increasingly disputed elections. Disputes over the composition and membership of election management bodies, complaints about the lack of adequate consultations on impending election timelines, debates around issues of succession and term limits, as well as prevailing security situations have been some of the issues that have led to heightened tensions and violence in some member states. The list is not exhaustive, but it gives you a picture of the challenges that Africa is currently facing.
What are the root causes? What are the more immediate causes? And how much you address more fundamental causes like colonial history and governance that was inherited from that, etc. So we've been debating that and looking at different ways to approach the problem.
It's hard to say there's just one cause because every country is its own context, but some of the themes that emerged are this fundamental lack of inclusive governance, that in too many places the governance structures are trying to control as opposed to engage citizens.
State fragility is caused by either absence of contract between the government and the governed, or failure of that contract, which is contract to govern. And I was of the opinion that the whole idea of contract in terms of governance is a contestable one.
There are some common issues that are critical to think about when you're trying to tackle fragility, and that is, invest in inclusive economic growth, invest in legitimate participatory government structures, have sustained investment. These are challenges that take a long time. They can be generational to move out of some of these difficult situations.
Addressing the problem of leadership, addressing the problem of constitutional protection of the rights of the citizens, that is constitutionalism and democratic governance.
Fundamentally, local leadership is what's the most important. You need to have local solutions that are generated locally and owned by communities and leadership.
The African Union must be empowered, must be supported, to be able to address the issues of the challenges of security in our region. And they should take the initiative, and not foreign institutions to take the initiative. Foreign institutions can support, can collaborate, but the initiative has to be taken by the regions where the problems are.
And the African Union has assembled a staff at high levels, commissioner levels, office directors and elsewhere, of experts who look at the continent from an analytical point of view and the problem point of view. The heads of state are looking at how do I stay in office? How do my party stay in power?
U.S. Institute of Peace partnered with two other institutions in the United States, the Carnegie Foundation for International Peace and the Center for New American Security. And our motivation was to put together some recommendations for the next U.S. administration that both built on the learnings to date and took the lessons for how to better tackle this core issue of state fragility. And so the report put together what we call the 4S policy framework to help guide policymakers in thinking this through.
And the idea was to present to the new administration, this was done before the election, a way that we felt the administration needed to be organized and prepared to respond to the problem of fragile states.